Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel Brown. We are going to walk you through what I would consider my week 4 and 5 of becoming a bookkeeper. So what I'm going to say is that week 4 and probably a little bit of week 3 was really mainly spent doing QuickBooks certification stuff online. And so what I would recommend is that really for that 4th week, I would go and watch my video, which I will link down below, to that explanation of how that exam went and what I did. And so I'm really going to talk about the end of week 4 and into week 5 of starting my business. Week 5 was really spent emotionally making some more steps and towards getting some more clients. So if you've watched some of my videos, then you know that I got one client that led me in the QuickBooks direction, and I'm super grateful for that because I went ahead and got certified. But that first client didn't actually end up working out. And just for reasons that her business was small and still growing, she didn't feel like it was something that she needed right now. And first I'll just say and make a note about this, that's good. You don't want to wrangle someone into having you as a bookkeeper if they're not ready for that. Number 1, it means that it's not going to be a lasting client relationship. And 2, it's going to be stressful because there are going to be just little concerns about the money that they're spending and the service that you're providing. And so I think that those not emotional struggles, but maybe that wall between you and your first client is okay. Like, it's okay for that to not work out and then not to get discouraged. And I think that's probably the harder part, is not letting yourself beat yourself up over it. So week 5, I really made a game plan of how I was going to reach out to different clients, potential clients, and how I wanted to portray my business to those people. So what I decided was that I would go through my Facebook and I would just look at all the people that I knew that had a business. And I think I talked a little bit about this in the week 3 video, but I looked through that list of people and I made a rough draft message of what I might send to them on Facebook. And so that I basically wrote one rough draft and then tweaked it to each person. But my objective in that message was to let them know that I'm so excited about their business, because that's really key. I have to be interested in their passion for their business, or they shouldn't bring me on as a bookkeeper and as part of their team. So I started out with saying how great I thought their business was, maybe something personal about one of their business items. And this is not to be phony. This is just to start to build that relationship with someone that you would love to work for. And then I moved into telling them that I had begun my own side business of starting bookkeeping, and that I had done this for my husband. And so that will obviously be different for every one of you when you're starting your business, but you need to be able to say something about what you bring to the table and what you're providing. So maybe that's a little statement in there about what bookkeeping is and how excited you are to do it. But you need to let them know what you're providing and how excited you are to start this and what your experience is. And then I just basically wrapped it up with saying, totally understand if this isn't something that you need right now. If you would just keep me in mind if you hear of other friends that are growing a small business and might need someone, I'm always free. And then I gave them my contact information. That might be really nerve-wracking, because you're putting yourself out there to these people, and they might be even people that you know. Obviously you're friends with them on Facebook somehow. So I got really anxious about it, and I had to text my sister and say, should I do this? Is this stupid? And of course she texted me back and said, no, it's a great idea. If someone doesn't need your services, all they'll do is just say, thanks for reaching out, but I'm good. And so I did it. So I think out of my list, I had I think maybe I started with 12 people on my list, and I just decided that first day to send a Facebook message to 6 of them. And so I figured I would just see how that went, and then I'd go from there. And out of all of those 6 people, almost everyone responded back to me that day. There was maybe one person didn't respond back to me. And that person still hasn't reached back out, which I'm just gonna take that she doesn't need it. I saw that she saw the Facebook message, but she could be busy. You know, she doesn't owe me anything in a response form. So of the other people that responded, one called me almost immediately, and that's the person that I'm meeting with today, my first client. and the rest of them said some form of, you know, I don't think my business is there right now, but I'd keep you in mind, or I have some friends that might be interested in your bookkeeping services. And so I consider that a win for someone to take the time out of their day, not only to read my message, but to respond back to me and be kind. I think that that really shows that putting yourself out there, as vulnerable as that makes you, it does have its rewards, and it's worth it in the end. Little quick recap. I did my QuickBooks certification. I emotionally put myself back out there. I reached out to people on Facebook and dealt with my responses. So that was really exciting. The other thing that I really thought about this in the last 2 weeks is that I do want to make my Facebook page public, and I want to have some marketing ready to go when I decide to do that. So what that means is that I really messaged all of those people on Facebook from my personal account. I did make a Facebook business account, but I really haven't made it public yet. I mean, it's technically public. Anybody could go to it and see it. But I have not published any posts or shared any posts because I want to have a game plan in mind before I do that. I think the worst thing that you can do is like make this grand reveal on Facebook with this awesome post and then maybe have another one and then go dry for like 3 or 4 weeks. I just feel like that does more of a harm than a help for your business. And so I want to have things ready to roll. So this week I thought about a marketing strategy and a game plan for what posts I want to make and when I want them to be posted. The Business Boutique book by Christy Wright that I've mentioned a couple of times has a really great chapter, or a couple of chapters on marketing. And one of them is the strategy of give, 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 take. So, and the last one's not even take. I think it's like make a sale or something. But you give like 3 times in your marketing before you would ever expect for someone to buy a product or buy a service from you. So what I'd like before I start saying all the services that I can provide as a bookkeeper and marketing that on Facebook is really giving some content to people through my business page. And so some of the things that I thought about in giving my prospective viewers or likers on Facebook or whatnot, or subscribers, etc., is providing like a profit and loss statement. So there are going to be plenty of people, like the people that I messaged on Facebook this week, that just aren't ready to hire someone to be a bookkeeper. They might hire you at the end of the year to help them with their taxes and tax prep, but they might not need you every single month to help them do their bookkeeping. So instead, to keep them as people that see my things on Facebook and therefore promote my business, I'd love to provide those people, those small businesses that are too small to have me as a client right now, or to have me on their team. I'd love to provide them with a profit and loss free statement that I've created that's really worked well for me on paper and pen. And so I'm gonna make a completely separate video on how I do the books for my husband's book business, his landscaping business, and I strictly do that on paper and pencil. And so I'm gonna make a video on that, but what I've thought about is providing that paper product to my Facebook subscribers so that they have something that they could use for their business. And see, this is really doing, this is benefiting both of us, because if they throughout the year keep things up to date and they just need to hire someone at the end of the year to kind of wrap everything up for them, and then I know I've provided them with something that's easy for me to use to look back through all of their records. And it provides them something that's useful as they go throughout the year to really make all their transactions and their income and everything on one piece of paper. So I think I'm probably going to make a post about a profit and loss statement and give that out in a PDF form. And then I'm also going to create a video to go along with that as a secondary post of how they should use that profit and loss statement to best fit their organizing and transaction and expense records. So I think those are probably going to be a couple things that I give. I also, and just in general, if I'm talking with a client for the first time, give a free consultation for 30 minutes. So just talking through where they're at would totally be free and would be totally helpful to a person to know, am I ready to have someone be a bookkeeper? Or when I talk to this bookkeeper, does it seem like everything they're mentioning I already do? or already know how to do, or I'm capable of doing. So, so yeah, that's really what I did in weeks 4 and 5. I feel really good about what I've accomplished. I'm really excited to meet with my first client today and record that video later on about the work that I do. And yeah, so hit subscribe and follow my channel. We'll see you next time.